Okay, welcome back to the vlog. So we are going to be tinting that F30 Lewis Sensational. We're going to be tinting his taillights with paint protection film that's actually tinted called S-Tech, which is better than the Vivid stuff that I used. The Vivid stuff I used just wasn't that great. You could actually see the glue in it. It didn't lay that well and it was way too dark. So this is the S-Tech stuff and it's considerably lighter and it's actually made for the purpose of tinting lights. And it also adds a layer of like PPF protection. So this should be really interesting. We're gonna do his tail lights, which will be really cool. His tail lights are LCI OEM, so they're actually lighter than the Depot LCI tail lights. He wants to go a little bit darker. This should be the perfect resolution. And then on mine, we're gonna be tinting the headlights. And we're gonna show you guys before and after with the lights on, off, and then the tint, lights on, off. All right, so here are the tail lights without the tint. And then this is what they actually look like without the lights on. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the LCI taillights. His are in fact OEM and they're a little bit lighter than the Depot taillights. So it's gonna be interesting to see the difference once we actually tint it. Yeah, this stuff is way lighter than the other stuff I was using.
It does have a...
I'm curious to see how like workable it is. You know what I mean?
It's paint protection film, so it should stretch pretty easy.
Do not forget, once we hit 15K, giving away the spoiler. Who wants to win it? We're almost there. We're at like 12K. So close. So here's a good representation of like a 50-50. And as you can see, it's a super mild tint. Like it's just a tiny, tiny bit of tint, which is good because the last time we did those headlights, it was way too dark. I think this is gonna be perfect. That looks really good. So Lewis lubed it up.
The wetter the better.
The wetter the better. You guys just wanna make sure that anytime you're doing this, if you have coating done, like my headlights are ceramic coated, so we're gonna have to polish a lot of that stuff off before we actually go ahead and put it on. It won't stick if it has any stuff on it like that, so. I'm actually excited to see how these look. So we got the first part on. Lewis gives his approval for it. He likes the S-Tech film and the way it works, the pliability of it. Turn off the lights for a sec so we can see the difference. Dude, it's actually pretty awesome. Dude, it's perfect. It's just like a subtle amount of tint. Damn, that looks good, dude. Look at the difference. It's like perfect. All right, so just finished up the tint. This is what it looks like with the lights off. You guys will see the side by side of when we had the OEM lights, so you'll be able to see the difference. All right, go ahead and turn the lights on. Let's see what they look like. Sweet. Cool. So this tint actually also has hydrophobic properties and self-healing properties. So if you were to get a scratch or something, it actually comes right out with heat and it wicks water away just like a ceramic coating. That actually looks really good, man. Happy with it?
Yep.
Awesome.
That's so good.
Awesome. All right, so now we're gonna do headlights, right? All right, so we're in the car right now without the tint on. He's gonna turn off the lights. So that's the actual visibility without the headlights tinted. And obviously we're right up against a wall right here, probably 15, 20 feet out. So now we're gonna go ahead and tint the headlights and then I will show you guys the difference after we tint them. But this is pre-tint. High beams. Pre-tint. Normal, pre-tint. Parking lights. Those are the LED angel eyes. Pre-tint. Here we are pre-tint outside of the car
with the DRLs on. And like I said, you guys, we're gonna go through all of this again once we actually tint them. So here we are with the lights on in the room, pre-tint. So the old tint that I had when it was on the car with the lights off, it was too dark. You couldn't see the actual inside of the actual housing of the headlights. It just looked like a black hole, which I didn't like. Then, when you actually turn the lights on, it looked great for photos, but the drivability was garbage. So the difference now is that I have these 6000K headlights, so we upgraded the headlights, but we're gonna go with a lighter tint. So two factors that are gonna change the way that this looks now that we're adding that new tint, and I have the lighter beams. So this is without the lights actually on, obviously, and last time when we tinted these, we used the Vivid, and what it did was it actually blacked out the entire housing. So you couldn't see any of the headlight, which was why I really didn't like the Vivid. And that's why we're switching to this S-Tech stuff. It should give it a pretty interesting look. It's the same stuff that we used on his taillight over there. So a little before action. And at the end of the video, I'll do a bunch of before and after for you guys.
Some films are known for that type of thing to begin with.
Here you guys can get a good idea of the difference right there. It's very subtle. Oh yeah, dude, it looks way better. It's less like washed out. Yeah, it looks way better. There's more definition. All right, so we just got it all cut. Here's what it looks like with the tint. And the lights are off, obviously. So there you go, you get that definition. Looks really good. Looks really good. All right, so hit them on. And there it is with the DRLs. It seems like the DRLs shine through enough, so we shouldn't have a problem with the actual tint and the new bulbs that we have in here. And that was the big issue before. It was too dark and the bulbs weren't bright enough, so we updated the bulbs and then we lightened up the tint. It really is the perfect combination. You have to see it in person though, because it actually has like a blue, a little bit of a bluish hue to it, but it looks really good. Looks really good. So this is with the DRLs. Yeah, dude. Super bright. High beams. And the angel eyes. There you go. All right, so visibility in the car now. Which I think is going to be fine. I think that's going to be fine for driving. And I'll compare how it was without the tint on to with the new tint. But I think this is actually going to be just fine for driving. Let's turn on the high beams. There are high beams. And then we'll do the parking lights. So just the angel eyes. Looks good. Looks really good. I love it. There's kind of like a blue, a little bit of a blue hue to it. Not a lot, but just a touch. All right, so there you guys go. With the headlights tinted. I really like them. I think it looks really good. I'm gonna sit with it for a while, kind of take it in. The only thing I do have to mention is you can't actually get S-Tech products to a consumer. You have to be a dealer to buy it, so that's why we're here at Sensational, and they actually purchased it. Shout out to Lewis over at Sensational for doing all this work for us. Appreciate it. But so we got his taillights done, and then we did my headlights, and I think they look really good. Live with it for a little bit and see how it kind of grows on me. It's really subtle, which is just what we wanted. We didn't want it to be too dramatic. But I think the most important parts to talk about are the fact that it's basically PPF, so it's guard, and then it's also hydrophobic, so ceramic. Makes cleaning easier and protection pretty good. You decide.